Hi there, and welcome to Studio SN, your place for card making, rubber stamping, and paper crafting tutorials. My name is Sara Naumann, and I'm so very glad you're here. Today I want to show you how to create a really beautiful brayered effect with Glimmer Metallic Ink. You can see my brayered background here. As I'm tilting this, I think you can also see the shine and that beautiful glimmer. And that's from the inks that I'm using. Now the inks are from Hero Arts, and these are their Glimmer Metallic Inks. The ones that I'm using come in a two-pack set. So I've got the purple and the blue. Of course you can use them separately, but I'm blending them together to create this background. It's a really easy process to do, working directly onto the craft sheet. That's going to be your palette. So I'm going to move aside my card. I'm going to bring in my smooth white cardstock and also my inks. So once again, the blue and the purple, I'm just going to deposit the ink directly onto my craft sheet. You can see I've got a little eyedropper applicator here, so I can put as much or as little of this ink onto the craft sheet as I need. Now one thing they do recommend is that you make sure you shake the bottles before you work with this, and I've already gone ahead and given mine a little bit of a shake so that we're ready to go. Now you can use these straight out of the bottle. You can also add a little bit of water, so I'm just going to mist a little puddle of water up here, and that's going to give my colors a little bit more blendability. So I'm going to run my brayer through the water and then also through that beautiful blue ink, and just going to brayer that right onto my cardstock. And then I'll pick up a little more water and some of the purple and pop that down on top. Now with a brayer, of course, you can get lots of different patterns. You can add as much or as little as you want, but you're getting a nice even coverage on here. And it also means that the dry time will not be too long. And with these inks, there really isn't too long of a dry time at all. So you can get to working with your beautiful brayered piece pretty quickly. So I've got my background brayered on here. Now I've still got a lot of ink on my surface, and normally what I would do is work on some more pieces and add some more on here, but just for the interest of the video, I'm going to clean this up, and it's just going to clean right up off of my craft sheet pretty easily with a baby wipe, and mop this off so that I've got a dry surface to work on. I just need to let this dry, and then I can go and put it to use as my background on my card. But one other element I wanted to show you is this little deer on here. Now this deer has been painted, not with the metallic inks, but with a liquid watercolor. So I want to show you that process too. So I'm going to bring in my little stamped deer. And now this is also a Hero Arts stamp, and this is from the Wintertime Fun collection. So you can see lots of really sweet images. You've got a Christmas tree, you've got the deer, you've got also some other woodland animals. And also available are the dies to go along. So as you can see, this is going to coordinate with the deer stamped image, which is what I've used here. So I've stamped the deer using a permanent black ink, and that's going to be really important because I'm working with a liquid watercolor, and if I don't have a permanent ink, then that deer is going to get really smeared and blurry. Now I don't have to shake this before I add it to my craft sheet because this is pretty much ready to go. So I'm just going to put a little blob of that brown on there, and that is also from Hero Arts, and this is the Art Print Brown. So you can see they've always got the labels on the side there. Once again, I'm just going to add a little bit of water up in the top corner of my craft sheet and get some of that water with my brush and make a nice light brown color. And I'm working with a pretty small brush in this case because I know that there's some detail areas of this deer that I want to make sure I don't go over or blob up too much. So I'm just going to paint him in pretty quickly, and you can see how soft and subtle that effect is with that really light watery brown. And come down and do his little feet as well, and legs. There we go. And his little tail. Then what I can do, because I still have some varying grades of this brown color, is I can come back and add a little bit more shading and shadowing around some of the detail areas. And his horns I'm going to be really careful with here, using this very fine tip brush. Once again, that's going to give me the ability to get into some of those areas. And you can always come back and add more. So that's really going to help give you some control over your image too. And there we go. Come through here, add a little bit of shadow down on his tummy. And then around on his chest as well. And you can rework this as much as you want to get the effect that you like. And of course, when this dries, you can also come back, because it's a watercolor, so you can come back and add some more texture and dimension in here as well. So then once you're done with your deer, all you need to do is just let him dry, and then come in with your coordinating die, pop that on top, and run it through your die cutting machine. Now there's another stamp on here, or another shape on here that I've used. I have not used the Christmas tree stamp, but I did use the coordinating die and simply cut a piece of white cardstock to go onto the front of my card. So let me bring back in my original card and I'll show you how I've put this together. So as you can see on here, my brayered background, and then I've got the stamped sentiment here that is from the very same stamp set. I've added that Christmas tree that's just been mounted, kind of half mounted onto another Christmas tree die that's cut from black, so I've got a bit of a shadow effect. And then I have my deer on here. Now he is mounted up with some foam tape. And then I've also added a little twine bow here, just as a nice contrast between the glimmer and the shine of the background, and a couple of self-adhesive rhinestones on there too. So this is how you can create a really fun brayered effect with Glimmer Metallic Inks. Thank you so much for joining me on Studio SN. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe to Studio SN on YouTube, and I'll keep you updated with the very latest stamping and card making videos. In the meantime, please feel free to learn more about paper crafting techniques on my website, saranaumann.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.